Hello, I'm Dave Rapachetta, Senior Risk Management Consultant with Berkley Industrial Comp, and for our Home Safe for the Holidays campaign, I will be discussing wheels off-road construction equipment. Safety starts with training. OSHA and MSHA requires employers to provide training to workers who face hazards on the job. Before engaging in any potentially hazardous activities, workers must receive appropriate safety training from their employer as defined in OSHA and MSHA standards. Training in the safe way for workers to do their jobs well is an investment that will pay back over and over again in fewer injuries and illnesses, better morale, lower insurance premiums, and more. It is a good idea to keep a record of all safety and health training. Documentation can also supply an answer to one of the first questions an incident investigator will ask. Did the employee receive adequate training to do the job? Who should do safety training? OSHA's 1926.32 Section F, competent person means one who is capable of identifying existing and predictable hazards in the surroundings or working conditions which are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and who has authorization to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. Subpart O, an overview. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, fatal occupational injuries by event in 2018 included 2,080 deaths, which were the result of occupational transportation incidents. The number is 39% of the 5,221 annual number of fatalities from occupational injuries in 2018. The majority of fatalities that occurred in road construction work zones in the United States involve a worker being struck by a piece of construction equipment or other vehicle. A worker in this industry is just as likely to be struck by a piece of construction equipment inside the work zone as by passing traffic. Hazard recognition. Highway and street construction workers are at the risk of fatal and serious non-fatal injury when working in the vicinity of passing motorists, construction vehicles, and equipment. According to the Building Safer Highway Work Zones, each year more than 100 workers are killed and over 20,000 are injured in the highway and street construction industry. Vehicles and equipment operating in and around the work zones are involved in over half the worker fatalities in the construction industry. Documentation is the key to success or failure with your safety program. Both OSHA and MSHA will tell you if you did not document your safety training, it did not happen. Equipment operating training should consist of common hazards, ways to avoid these hazards, how to safely operate the equipment, conduct equipment inspections, a brief review of the operator's manual, written exam to ensure the employee demonstrates an understanding of what was instructed. A hands-on practical will be needed to evaluate the operator to observe them operating the equipment safely. The training should be documented and archived with the employee training records. Hazard awareness training should emphasize equipment blind spots, swing radius of equipment, safe backing up of equipment, traffic control plans, pedestrian worksite walkways, common hazards associated with heavy equipment, and ways to avoid heavy equipment hazards. The training should be documented and once again archived with the employee training records. In this picture here, you will see employees working around mobile equipment. Employees working on or around heavy equipment should be required to wear high visibility clothing so that equipment operators can see the employees. Traffic flow or control plans are developed for each work site and briefed to all employees and subcontractor employees before work begins. Work sites that require the use of heavy equipment and ground workers need to have established traffic flow plans to separate pedestrian traffic from heavy equipment work areas. Established pedestrian walkways will increase hazard awareness and ensure operators are at alert when approaching foot traffic areas. Pre and post inspections of equipment. An important element to a maintenance program is routine inspections to ensure equipment is in working order and safe to operate. Equipment operators should be trained to inspect equipment before operating it, and it is best practice to utilize a checklist. Manufacturers typically develop checklists for the equipment, and the inspection checklist should be turned into the supervisor daily so that maintenance items that need fixed can be completed. Never operate equipment that is in need of repair. Red tag it and do not operate. No-go zones. Clearly identify no-go zones for equipment and educate ground workers to never enter these areas under any circumstances. No-go zones should be marked with highly visible means such as cones, barricades, signs, or danger do not enter flagging tape. Affording equipment operators adequate space to operate the equipment will prevent incidents. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Have a wonderful day.